Hey, it's Mac. Hey, I'm glad to see y'all. Glad y'all could make it here. All of you out there in YouTube, if you've never seen any of my videos, you've never seen me before, or you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit that red button and also hit the bell. If you hit that bell, then you'll be able to know when I have a new video coming out. All right. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me something in the comments. Leave me, maybe it's something that I didn't have or miss that you wanted to see. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. A lot of y'all know my story. I may tell my story a little later, but right now I just want to welcome y'all to Holistic Health Talk. I'm gonna be giving some handouts, and also I'm gonna tell you about some immune builders program that I have to build your immune system. I'm gonna have a question and answer toward the end. According to recent research, African Americans tend to lack vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin B, calcium, and iron. Along with that, the common cause of impaired immunity is nutrient deficiency. So I'm gonna be talking about that, and I'm gonna talk about balance. There are lifestyle behaviors that we need to have balance over. And when you have balance in these lifestyle behaviors, you're gonna have strong, good immunity. And that's balancing the various lifestyles of like stress, diet, supplements, physical stressors, sleep. And I'm gonna talk about all these different things. I'm gonna talk about some solutions to help build immunity. I'm also talk about herbal programs that I have. And I'm going to show y'all a couple of videos. One video is gonna be on the ionizer that I have. And I got a second video, muscle testing. Okay, so let's jump into some of these negative stressors that are causing us to have impaired immunity. Okay, impaired immunity, you need to have balance in all of these lifestyle foundational behaviors. Consistent immune health is important, especially during this pandemic. And you can't have consistent immune health if you're imbalanced. And it's kind of easy to become imbalanced. Things like, okay, stress. There's different stressors. Emotional stress. You have mental stress. You have physical stress. You know, there's all different types of stressors. And these stressors can cause you to become imbalanced. The same with diet, missing meals, sleep, poor quality sleep, not getting enough sleep. Okay, all of these can impair you from having a good, solid immunity. Even your diet, a poor diet. Like I said, African Americans lack vitamin A, D, B, unless you're doing something, you're doing something out of the ordinary or out of the average, I should say. You're doing something more than the average person, then maybe you don't lack those. But we're talking about average, okay, average African American. So let's talk about these lifestyle behaviors, starting with stress. Emotional. Emotional stressors like anger, fear, frustration, sadness, grief, cognitive stress. We're dealing with a lot of cognitive stress, seems like now too. That's things like dementia. Some of you have elderly parents you're taking care of. I know we went through that. Me, my sister Karen, and other siblings, dealing with our father, dementia. Okay, some have Alzheimer's. All of those are emotional stressors on a person. Information overload. I know I talked to a few people and some of y'all about this Zoom thing. I just started learning this Zoom, but I had to learn it through the church that I'm a part of in the health ministry. They told me I needed to get into Zoom and start using it. and learn it and be able to give seminars. I did that in a couple of months. I started learning Zoom. Information overload, though. There's so much technology out here today. It's so much the need to learn about technology. And, it's stressful to try to take it all on. Okay? It is. Worry, guilt, shame, jealousy, self-criticism. People have panic attacks. All of these can affect or infect your immune balance. All of these. Then we could get into mental stressors like anxiety, depression, PTSD, manic, epilepsy, brain disorders, communication apprehension. Let me just back up and tell y'all a little bit about anxiety, because this was something that I suffered from and dealt with when I was living in Los Angeles. Man, that's when I had my graphics company and I was doing McCurtis Creative. I was running all over LA. I used to get out about 9 a.m. in the morning and I used to come home about 10 p.m. at night. And for some reason, I don't know why, I was biting my lip. I just started biting my lip. I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And then later I started biting it inside of my jaw. Inside my jaw, I was biting. You know what I'm saying? I was that stressed out. And it's difficult when you're trying to eat, okay, and you're biting your lip. I got all this chewed up stuff inside my lip. I'm trying to let it heal, but you got to eat every day. And depending on the food you eat, if it's spicy, if it has vinegar in it, that can affect that. And, and that irritates. But I was so stressed out. I was worrying about projects and things I had a month away. A month away, I'm worrying about what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, okay? Stress, the anxiety was eating me up. And at that time, I didn't have as much knowledge as I have now about holistic health. So I kind of had to figure it out. Luckily, I did have a little more knowledge about herbs because we have a product that I started using called NutriCalm. And NutriCalm, let me tell you, it can get the stress handled. It passes what I call the stomp test or the slap test. Somebody could step on your foot. If you're taking NutriCalm and it's fully, absorbed in your body, it's at blood level, then you wouldn't get excited. Someone step on your toe, you like, oh, they stepped on my toe. That person stepped on my toe. That's all. You wouldn't get excited or nothing. You wouldn't get mad. And it passes the slap test. If somebody came up to you and just slapped your face like that, you'd say, he slapped my face. That person just slapped me. But you wouldn't be angry. You wouldn't be excited because NutriCalm soothes and calms the nervous system and feeds it with the vitamins and minerals that you need to keep that stress level from going haywire. So I was taking NutriCalm to deal with that anxiety. And then later, the church I was going to there, they were really into meditation. And I started learning about meditation. And I started doing what I created or called closet meditation. Because meditation is basically just sitting there, being quiet, being still, okay? Just like prayer, you can pray anywhere. You don't have to shut your eyes to pray. You can have your eyes open and pray. You can pray. I can pray right here where I'm at right now, okay? So meditation is the same. You're just trying to release all the thoughts, release all the madness that's going on in your brain. You're thinking about stuff. So you sit there, you be still. And what I added with that is deep breathing. Everybody know about deep breathing. Deep breathing will help to relieve that stress also. So doing deep breathing, and I'm gonna talk about this more. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I just wanted to tell y'all a little bit about my anxiety problem that I had, and I dealt with it through meditation, through deep breathing. When I do the closet meditation, what I do is just walk in a closet. You have a walk-in closet, it has a door on it, you can shut it. You go in there, you put a fold-up chair in there, and you sit in there, and you just focus on the breathing. You do the deep diaphragmatic breathing and focus on that. And you set a timer. You have a timer for a minute or two if you're not used to meditation. I can sit in there for 5 minutes. I set my timer for 5. If I'm really stressed out, which isn't that much these days, but I can set it for 10. Okay? So these type of stressors can really cause havoc to you have imbalance in these lifestyle behaviors. Okay? Physical stress. Physical stressors like a slip and fall. And actually, this just happened to me also. I play tennis. We were playing tennis this past Tuesday, and one of my tennis mates was trying to get a ball and slipped and fell and hurt her eye. She hurt her cheek and her eye. Her eye swelled up so bad, we had to take her to the hospital and stuff. And I imagine she was going through all kinds of pain and stress, because that's physical stress. It causes pain. And, I mean, she probably was not feeling good at all. Dentist, when I go to my dentist, I be talking to them about, man, look at the pain y'all be putting us in. Y'all put us through a lot of pain, and he tried to play it off like, I'm like, pulling teeth, drilling with that drill. I just hate the sound of that drill. You know what I'm saying? It's like PTSD, going to a dentist. And actually, I had a childhood trauma from the dentist. This was back in the day. My mother took me to have my teeth worked on, and I think I was about 12. And this dentist said it would be better for him to pull this tooth without any Novocaine or anything. I didn't know what Novocaine was. But when this guy started pulling that teeth, I knew what pain was. I knew everything about pain and pulling the teeth. They be sticking you and jabbing you with this sharp object first, and then they start doing things with feel like a pair of pliers, and they start moving that tooth or grabbing on it. I was terrified, and I only let out one tear all that time. But that thing, that traumatized me. Because when I sit in the dentist chair, as an adult, I'm like kind of shaking, I'm always kind of like shaking, and you all right? You okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Because they have all the Novocaine and everything now, but I'm still traumatized from when I was a young boy. So these stressors can just punch a hole in your immunity, okay? And diet, okay? People that drink alcohol, coffee, anything that has caffeine in it, sugar, toxic food. If you eat at fast food restaurants, you're eating toxic food. The average American diet has toxic food. Why? Because the average American diet lacks nutrients. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk more about the solutions for all these negative lifestyle behaviors. Some of them you may have, and some of them you may not. Because like I said, some people deal with stress better than others, and some don't, okay? And what's that? Sleep. We're gonna talk about sleep. Actually, my camera here is blocking my screen a little. So sleep, we're gonna talk about sleep, not getting enough sleep, how it affects your biological clock. I was talking to my niece the other day. She was telling me she don't get good sleep. And she's telling me how she works the graveyard shift. And we're gonna see and talk about some things about sleep and how it affects our biological clock, okay? You may not see this very well, but I'm gonna just talk about some of it to y'all. You may not see the small type on there. But this biological clock, or circadian rhythms, it tells everything biologically that goes on with the body. Like at 3:30, it says your fastest reaction time is at 3:30 p.m. Okay. Bowel movements are suppressed at 10:30. So you shouldn't be having bowel movements at night around 10:30. If you do, guess what? Your biological clock is out of balance. Things like high alertness At 10 a.m. all the way to 2:30 p.m., that's when you should have the highest amount of alertness. And I know I do, but I talk to different people different times, and they tell me how they're so revved and up in the morning. I'm a morning person. I say, I'm not a morning person. They say, I love getting up at 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. and I'm doing this and I'm ready to go to work. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, no, about 10 a.m. I'm doing good. But that just shows you at 10 a.m., that's when you should be at your highest alertness according to your biological clock. So maybe their clock is a little bit off. Mine seemed to be fine because from 10 to 12 or even 2, that's when I'm riding high. That's when I'm fully alert and ready to take on the world, okay? So this biological clock gives, especially in Chinese medicine, it gives us an idea of what's going on. And in Chinese medicine, they're able to deal with health situations with a person when they look at your biological clock and they ask you different questions, you know, about what's going on with you. Like at this time, are you hungry, say at 6 o'clock? Or are you thirsty at this time? And just from knowing those things, they can set up a program for you to take care of whatever it is that, you know, illness or whatever is bothering you just by looking at your biological clock. Okay, sleep. Let me talk a little bit more about sleep. There's 4 stages of sleep. We have awake, we have light sleep, and we have deep sleep and REM. Okay, during awake sleep, this is the time when you're in bed before or after falling asleep. Light sleep, this is a time when your muscles relax, when your heart rate and your respiration slows down, and also it's easier for you to wake up during light sleep. This is stage 1 and 2 of sleep. Deep sleep is stage 3 and 4. Your body promotes muscle and tissue growth and repair during deep sleep. That's what? Meiosis, mitosis. Okay. New cells are formed and the bad cells are repaired during deep sleep. Growth hormones are released. This is when your brain flushes waste out, okay, during deep sleep. My niece, if she's working graveyard, I know she's definitely not getting deep sleep, not at 2 a.m. That's when deep sleep takes place, according to the circadian clock or the biological clock at 2 a.m. So if she's working graveyard, she's going to work at 11 or 12 and probably getting off at 7 or 8 a.m. So, you know, they talk about stinking thinking. That could happen if you're not getting deep sleep, okay? Because the brain's not able to flush away those waste because it does it at 2 a.m. Or your clock just may be a little bit off, you know? If it's not doing it 2, maybe it's trying to do it at another time, but that throws off the balance of your circadian clock. And REM sleep, okay? REM or rapid eye movement, it's better known as, this is the time when you have vivid dreams during REM sleep. You have vivid dreams, your heart rate increases, you have benefits during REM sleep. Memory, learning, and problem solving. Okay, you get all these benefits during REM sleep. Your body also becomes immobile where you can't move during REM sleep, so you won't act out your dream. The body goes through 4 or 5 90-minute cycles of sleep during these stages. So let's talk about solutions now. This is one solution that I had recommended to my niece. This is a traditional medicinals. I don't know if y'all could see this package very well, but this is a tea. It comes in tea bags, and I even use that myself right now. Sometimes I use this because it has valerian in it. My experience with valerian back in the 90s, this is a real good herb to get good sleep. It helps promote very good sleep, and I get good deep sleep from valerian, because when I wake up from it, using it, I'm refreshed. I think it's best to use this in a tea form like this in the tea bag instead of getting the bulk herb. I know some people like getting bulk herbs, but I wouldn't recommend that, especially with valerian, because valerian is so strong you can actually make your heart stop. It slows it down that much. So using it in this tea form, the way this package, you know, if y'all can see this, let me get my little pointer over here. But this is what I'm talking about. This little box here, y'all can see that it's a very good product. So first, when we talk about solutions, we want to remove the source, get to the root of the problem. I don't want to just go in there, you know, trying to get symptoms and deal with symptoms. I like to get to the root of the problem. And that's something that's very important, you know, as far as dealing with these negative stressors and getting them in balance. So if you know you're missing an hour or two of sleep, get on routine. Get back on routine, okay? Go to bed at the right time. I fight with that a lot, especially during COVID. I get hooked to this computer and I be sitting up looking at it and, you know, looking at movies and doing stuff. And, you know, hey, it's 12 a.m. next thing I know. So get back on routine. That's the root of the problem. You need to do that. Work on that first. Then you can start working on the other problems, okay? Some people tell me they need naps. They need to take a nap. If you need to take a nap, that's an indication you are out of balance. I haven't taken naps since, I'm talking about maybe the 90s, when I used to take like naps and thought that was normal. But once I became vegetarian and got in this holistic lifestyle, I haven't had to take a nap. I mean, maybe once in a while. I mean, like I said, I'm not perfect. Once in a while, like when I'm staying up too late, it's 1 a.m. or something, and I know I shouldn't be up, then yeah, my body may feel like it want to take a nap, but I know I've, you know, done something wrong. So I just try to get to the root of it and get back on my routine. Okay, get back on schedule when I should be sleeping. And then of course I can use the valerian tea, or I could do some other things. No drinking or eating. Okay, that affects it. No drinking or eating. You know, you got to prepare for sleep. I know some people don't know what that is. Prepare. How do you prepare for sleep? 1 or 2 hours before you go to sleep, you need to be preparing. And that's no drinking or eating. I fight with that sometime too. I don't know. For some reason, I like to drink liquids, and it's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm drinking liquids. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So you need to prepare, okay, to go to sleep. No eating or drinking 1 to 2 hours before you sleep. And no electronics in the room. I know this may be a problem or hard for some of y'all to do. No electronics, okay, in the room. When I was married, I had that problem with my wife. She wanted to keep the phone, her phone, in the room. And I said, okay, fine, if you turn it off. And when I thought she was turning it off, about 4 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m., I always heard this, you know, her phone making this noise. I'm like, what is going on? Man, I thought she turned that off. You know, I'm hearing this. I don't want to get up, of course. You know, I'm probably in light sleep then, not wanting to get up, but I'm awakened by her phone. So we got to the point, I said, look, come on, Betty, you got to put the phone in the other room. I'm like, what do you need your phone for in the room when you sleep? You know, who cares if somebody emailing you or texting you? Put that thing in the other room. So we finally got her to put it in the other room. And I said, just turn it off and charge it. I said, that's what I do with my phone. I plug it up to the charger in the front room. So when I'm asleep, my phone is charging, because she always had a problem. She don't have enough, her phone is not charged enough during the day. You know what I'm saying? Well, plug it in the charger when you sleep. So these are things that you can easily deal with and work with. And when you do get these things handled, it's about balance. When you're able to balance all these negative stressors, that's going to help you boost your immunity like crazy. You just won't believe. I mean, I'm talking from experience, 20 years as a vegetarian. And I know I've handled a lot of these things because I've done a lot of the solutions that I'm talking about. And I still do them, but I have them handled. So if something breaks through my immunity, I'm able to deal with it a lot quicker. And we're going to talk about that because that's having a strong constitution. Wearing a sleep mask. I didn't used to wear a sleep mask before. Okay. Most hotels, if you stayed in, they try to make the room as dark as possible because that's when you get the best sleep. They have blinds, they have curtains, they have shades, they have all kind of stuff if you notice when you're in a hotel, because it is very dark in those rooms, and that is great. That's the best way to get your deepest sleep. And if you have a problem, you don't have the shades or you don't have the curtains or something to get the darkness in your room, wear a mask. They have all kinds of sleep masks, okay? Those are great things. I wear one every night. I talked about the valerian tea, and I'm gonna show y'all a short video on an ionizer that I have. This is something I know a lot of people probably don't have. It costs a little money, few thousands maybe, but I bought mine back in the day, in the 90s. This ionizer has multiple benefits. One, it promotes good sleep. It helps promote good sleep. When I first got it, I used to use it every day, in the daytime and at night. And what I noticed after like 6 months was that I didn't sleep as much. I used to sleep like 7, 8 hours. Using this ionizer and having it on, I went down to 7 hours. Right now, I went down to 6. After 6 hours, my body wakes up. I have good sleep. My body is restored in just 6 hours of sleep. I know everybody's not like that. Some people sleep longer, some people sleep less. That's an imbalance, okay? The average is around 7 to 8 hours, right? For the average person. But I'm telling you, this ionizer, this thing will do things to your body unbelievable. It also helps with grinding your teeth. It also helps with sleep apnea. It also helps remove mold, mildew, fungus in your house. Okay, I used to use this in commercially when I lived in Florida because it's very humid there. I had a commercial ionizer that I used to go in hotels and I turned it on to remove smoke out of the hotel rooms. Pet odor, I'd remove it out of the hotel rooms. But with pet odor, you definitely have to have it out of the rug. If it's a rug in there, you definitely have to have it out of the rug. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this short video on ionizer, my ionizer.